Now, there is something else I want to talk about today. And I think what we just witnessed in France was a very good performance from different countries. And United States is one of them that is doing very well in distance running. There are quite a number of European countries that are challenging, especially the middle distance running. Other African countries are doing very well. Uganda, of course, Ethiopia, even though they race very rough. And some other African countries are pushing. I mean, you look at Botswana, the way they're doing in sprint, South Africa. I want to say something today that I think for a very long time, sisi tumerely na wazungu sana kwa these athletic events to the extent that we're not developing anything in Africa or in Kenya specifically to build these athletes specifically. And I'm saying that because there is a video that I analyzed the steeplechases. When I analyzed the steeplechases about why we're not doing well in the middle distance running, quite a number of athletes came to my inbox and told me there is one big mistake that is happening. There is one big problem that is happening. Some of the most talented athletes, I want you to listen to this part. This is very important and this is extremely important. Some of the most talented athletes, some of the most promising athletes who could be winning these middle distance events are going to road races. A good number of athletes who can do well in 10,000, 5,000, 1,500, there is no money in track and field. There is no, in track specifically, there is no money kukimbia kwa kiwanja. Unless maybe you are running the Grand Prix or unless you are running the championship events, which is the World Championship and the Olympics. So most of the good athletes have opted to jump to go to the road races to avoid, because they don't have money, not to avoid anything specifically, but to make money. And one of the suggestions that I want to have today, and I hope this can be listened by the administration also, especially the Minister of Sports. Long time ago, we used to have a series of very important meets organized by Athletics Kenya. We used to have Everett in Nakuru, we used to have Kakamega, we used to have the Eldoret series, we used to have Nairobi. I want East Africa to think about their own Grand Prix events. You know, listen, United States work on so many track and field meets. Yet they have a population of 350 million people. Here in East Africa, we have a population of 400 million people, but we cannot pull even a Grand Prix event that can happen within East Africa, and we reward these athletes who are doing very well in track and field. Why am I saying so? Enough kutegemea wazungu bwana. Sisi tuko na hiyo ability. We have that ability to build track and field giant just like United States. They have the same population like us. But we are not able to do anything because our companies, and I want to be very specific and very focused on this, our companies, Safaricom, Telcom, Rivertex, in banks, the banks, the equity banks, most of the corporate system in Kenya is not involved in rewarding the athletes. That is why unapata a very promising athlete who can run 1,500, anaamua kwa sababu ana pesa, he doesn't have upkeep money to jump to road races, and then guess what? They leave the track. That is how we lose good talent. That is why unapata a very great athlete angekimbia steeplechases, anaamua kuenda road races kwa sababu road races kwa huku wazungu ni January to January. And guess what? They leave track and field because there is no money. My advice, and maybe somebody within the ministry can listen to this, work with the Kenya private sector, work with the corporate sector, come up with an event of a series, whether it is East Africa, come out of East Africa or West, let's do it the Kenyan way. We used to do Eldoret. We used to do and have a final event in Nairobi. Reward these athletes, and I want to be very specific. Reward these athletes so that it can be an upkeep money for them. They don't have to run so that they don't have to run to road running. Road running destroy a lot of, it is not destroying, it is taking away great talent that can be so beneficial in the field. So Safaricom, the old Everready, I mean Telcom Kenya, Airtel, the banks, KCB, Equity, name it, the major corporate players in Kenya, Bamburi Cement, pull together resources, organize events so that these young people can compete in a series of track and field. And I say track and field because there are quite a number of events that if we participate on an year-to-year basis, we can produce Olympic medalists in different events, whether it is the high jump, it is the triple jump, it is the long jump, it is the pole vault, it is the swimming. Organize these events. In other words, if we don't invest, if those companies, the corporate sector in Kenya cannot invest in the facilities, let us say they have left that to the government, okay? They have left that part of investing in facilities to the government. Why can't you invest in the events? Why can't you work with Athletics Kenya to sponsor events in Nakuru, sponsor events in Eldoret, sponsor events in Kampala, sponsor events in Mombasa, okay? Sponsor events and reward athletes up to a certain point that athletes can be comfortable competing and be able to make a living in Kenya. Because think about this, an athlete in Kenya can run road races in Kenya and still make money, but they cannot run track and field and make money. An athlete in Kenya anazaruka Europe only for 2 to 3 races, na hiyo ina sustain throughout the year. So I'm urging really the corporate sector, the business community, the everybody, especially the stakeholders that used to, if you go to the old system, kuna majamaa tulikuwa tunaendanga mpaka Kakamega, tulikuwa tunaenda kukimbia AK meets in Nakuru, AK meets in Western Kenya, AK meets in Nakuru, AK meets in Eldoret. That is when we used to have very good runners, 1500, 800, development of talent. You know, at some point, we used to even have very good 200-meter runners. We can only produce one sprinter or Manyala. How are we going to regrow that talent in Kenya? I don't even want to speak about what we have failed, especially in colleges, and especially our universities. And that's another subject, and our high schools, because we don't have a very serious program like what the Americans have or what the Europeans have. And that is why, while we have resources everywhere in the country, let us try as much as possible to invest in the talent. Even if we leave the investment of the facilities to the government, let us say we leave the fields, please, companies in Kenya needs to step up and do something in helping athletes grow and nurture talent. Ya mwisho, a lot of athletes did very well in this performance in Paris. Where is the sponsorship? Okay? Ukikuja hapa, unapata hapa companies, the corporate sector America, they take athletes and they use them for advertisement. Isuzu Kenya has been doing just that for Kipchoge. Can the Toyota Kenya do it? Where is Coca-Cola Kenya? Where is Bamburi Cement sponsoring athletes or advertising using athletes? I mean, some few other companies have used the likes of Kena Ezekiel before. Where are serious corporate companies in Kenya who manufacture things to promote our athletes? Where are you? Where are you? It is not just enough for you to post on your Facebook pages congratulating these athletes. Because you own the money, do something about it. Do something about it. Sponsor some of this event. Take those athletes as the face of your companies. You know, take somebody like Beatrice. She's a double gold medalist. Let her be the face of a company in Kenya. Let them pay Beatrice. Take another athlete who is close to Beatrice. Let that be the habit and the attitude of them. Because that is exactly what makes Americans great, by the way. They pull an athlete. Unaona saizi no lines. They are advertising mpaka chips. They are advertising mpaka tissue paper. Everything. Mpaka sabuni. Wabi Omo? Where is Omo? Where are you guys? That's my point. Kenyan companies. And if we want to do it bigger, let's do it in East Africa. We have a population equal to that of the United States. And nothing stops us from doing it. Okay?